Karim, you've done a couple books for O'Reilly. What are they?
I've done the Building Embedded Linux Systems book and the Embedded Android book, which is being written as we speak.
Embedded Android. Isn't Android embedded everywhere already? Or what's that all about?
It kind of is an oxymoron, but if you take Android in its traditional form, which is tablets and phones, and you look at it from the other angle, which is people who are doing touch-based devices, then your interest is to take this thing that runs on the phones and the tablets and put it in any sort of touch-based device. Such as automation systems that you might want to control with a touch-based system, kiosks, in-flight entertainment systems, you name it. Anything that interfaces with the user, Android's a good candidate for it.
So I could hack my microwave down the road and put embedded Android in there?
It's actually been put in microwave ovens. It's been put in washing machines. I don't know if you play your Angry Birds while you're waiting for your laundry, but it's been put in a lot of stuff.
So this is your first Android Open because it's all of our first Android Open.
Yeah.
So how are you finding it so far?
I find it great. I mean, the level of the speakers is amazing. I think the focus, the technical focus that we see in the presentations is also amazing. This is my 5th conference where I'm doing Android stuff, and I love it.
Excellent, excellent. So I hear you're working on something new, the embedded Android, but there's another project that you might be trying to launch as well?
Absolutely. So the key here is embedded Android is going to be something that's going to be very big. And I don't think any single person can write about it, from end to end. So what would be really nice is to have kind of like a cookbook thing where people from a variety of different horizons can come and say, okay, here's how we put Android in our device. I think that would provide a lot of meat for a lot of people out there who are looking to actually take Android and put it in their own device.
So you're thinking all the OEMs and other players in the ecosystem that might do a chapter or might do a couple pages or what it might be for a cookbook?
Yep, I think that's the goal, and also have people that are putting it in microwave ovens and washing machines come out and say, okay, this is how we took it and put it on our device. I think that would be great.
So the embedded Android seems like it crosses over into the DIY area, kind of the make stuff, where people are going to start taking Android and putting it in different devices?
Yeah, absolutely. I was doing a talk 2 weeks ago at Boston at the ESC, Embedded Systems Conference, and we were doing a hands-on on the Beagle board with an LCD panel. Absolutely, a fantastic DIY platform, whether it be you're using a Beagle board through a DVI or through an LCD panel or whatever it is. I mean, it's the perfect, tinker's platform.
So what do you think is the coolest thing you've seen with Android in a different device?
The coolest thing I've seen with Android in a device, I think the in-flight entertainment thing is really cool. Being put essentially in the airplane, because it is a touch-based device, and we've all had our fun with those devices. I've seen some of them reboot sometimes, but having Android in that opens the doorway for these folks to, pull in all the apps that you can find on the market and push all the technology that you find in Android into the hands of people who are flying commercial day in, day out.
So earlier today, Mark Stevens from Best Buy described Android being in all different devices and showing up at Best Buy. Can you see that happening anytime soon?
Absolutely. I mean, if you look historically, the embedded world in terms of user interfaces has been very poor. About a decade ago, Linux overtook the entire embedded market. So it replaced a lot of the homebrewed stuff. Of course, people homebrewed Linux then, but they created homebrewed embedded Linux systems. But now the standard was Linux. Except if you looked at what they had in terms of options for user interfaces, the only thing they had was really to go and use X window and the traditional desktop stuff, which is not great. Yeah. Android right now is a perfect fit for this, and the way I see it, it's going to overtake the entire embedded touch market. Any user interfacing something is going to have Android running on it.
So in addition to an app store, they have a distribution platform with Best Buy and possibly Amazon now too?
Yeah, absolutely. In terms of app stores implementation, so you have Amazon, you have Barnes & Noble's got them, you have network operators who implement their own. There's even an open source implementation of an app store where you have both the client side and the back end. So if you want to roll your own app store, it's all out there.
And plus, down the road for your embedded devices, you have Best Buy, who's kind of ponied up to the table today and said they can't wait for them to happen. And you've probably got Amazon as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think we're just in the beginning of a 5 to 10 year time frame where we're going to see very much Android do the same thing that Linux did 5 or 10 years ago, which is gradually take over the whole entire space.
Interesting, 5 or 10 years, because whenever I make those prognostications, it seems like it's 1 or 2.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's funny because even today, so people have been using embedded Linux for about 14 or 13 years now. I still get requests for people who want training on embedded Linux. So I mean, people are still kind of discovering this technology. So if that's any indication of the future of Android, then still 10, 12 years down the road, there are still going to be people who are going to start using it in new products. So for me, it's sure. There's always a bubble, and it always kind of like surfaces in the beginning. But you have a lot of people that start using a thing after the bubble goes away.
Well, we'll check back next year at Android Open and see how quickly that's accelerating.
Absolutely.
Karim, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mike.